Founding Speaker of South Africa's Democratic Parliament, Dr Frene Ginwala, has died at the age of 90. She passed away at her home last night following a stroke 2 weeks ago. President Ramaphosa has extended his condolences to Dr Ginwala's family, friends and colleagues. She was active in the anti-apartheid movement and worked as a lawyer, academic, political leader, activist and journalist. In 2005, Dr Ginwala was honoured with the Order of Luthuli in silver. She will be buried in a private funeral as per her family's wishes. All right, let's bring you some tributes tonight. We're joined by Maharaj, Dr Maharaj, former cabinet minister and struggle stalwart. Thank you for being with us. Do you believe that she really gave that gravitas, gave that role to Speaker in the beginning? And of course, you can pay your personal tribute.
The Parliament of Democratic South Africa, which assembled in 1994, was a completely new phenomenon in our country. It was made up of people from diverse walks of life, black, white, whatever hue, men, women, and they came from every walk of life. There were members who had been domestic workers, members who had been factory workers, miners, teachers, doctors, lawyers, you name it. And Frene Ginwala was charged with the task of shaping the custom, traditions, and the manner in which that parliament was to operate. Comrade Mandela had occasion as president to remind us in parliament that we were representatives of the people and that we had a solemn duty to attend to our work with punctuality and to engage in debates with respect for each other so that the dignity of this institution was maintained and enhanced. That task fell to Frene Ginwala. It was no easy task. It was a parliament made up of a multiplicity of political parties representing diverse and often conflicting interests. And Frene attended to it meticulously, learning, studying how other parliaments operated, but learning how to adapt those to the South African situation. She did that not just by imposing a heavy hand of discipline, but with a sense of humor, that here we were building a new institution and learning our way forward. She succeeded in that task because she remained Speaker for 2 terms. And when I look back, I realize how much we owe the positive sides of our parliament to the stewardship of Comrade Frene Ginwala. I remember her as a person of a multiplicity of talents. She could not be put into a single box and say, this is what makes Frene. Frene was an activist, a journalist. She had been the foreign editor of Africa South, which subsequently was banned. When Tanzania became independent, she went to Dar es Salaam and opened a newspaper called The Spearhead. She was later deported from independent Tanzania. And then a few years later, President Nyerere intervened and invited her back and revoked the deportation. They invited her then to take charge of being the managing editor of the daily English newspaper in Dar es Salaam called The Standard. She was a lecturer. She participated in producing programs for the BBC. She went around the world promoting the cause of anti-apartheid. She headed the research team of the ANC in London for a few years before she relinquished that post to Comrade Paulo Jordan. But at all times, she remained active in the office of the the late President Oliver Tambo. So she also, in the post-90 era, returned to South Africa, played her part in CODESA and the multi-party negotiations. Her handprints are to be found on the interim constitution, and she helped to develop the charter of the Coalition of Women. That charter was produced in 1994. Frene then served as a speaker, as I say, until 2004. And after that, she spent the rest of her life promoting democracy and social justice, not just in South Africa, but across the world. That's Frene, who can never be put in a box, and who I believe with other veterans that her accomplishments and her formidable contribution should be shouted out from the rooftops so that we all learn from it how to be servants of the people.
Mr. Maharaj, thank you very much, and thank you for giving us that sweep of history, highlighting how important she was in the exile period, in holding the reputation of the ANC and spreading the word of the struggle, particularly in the UK and elsewhere. That was Mac Maharaj, former Cabinet Minister and struggle stalwart.